I'm attorney Justin Clark. Coming up ahead on You Have Real Estate, if you want to avoid paying these crazy electric bills, Stephen Bader has a great offer for you. Also, Donovan France is going to show us some great real estate. It's all just ahead. It's You Have Real Estate. And welcome to You Have Real Estate with me, attorney Justin Clark. Whether you're a first-time home buyer, seasoned investor, or even looking to sell your home, this next 30 minutes is designed just for you. Think of it like getting multiple open houses, all from your living room, but with my attorney advice throughout the way. If you have any questions at all during the show, I have people standing by to answer them. 407-205-0400. If you want to start your house hunt this week and you will need to get pre-approved, Dallas Lehman with You Have Mortgages standing by at that same phone number, 407-205-0400. Great show for you today. Thank you for spending your holiday here with us. But first, it's time for the opening statement. I find it super interesting that we are discontinuing evictions, we're discontinuing foreclosures. Now that's been extended at least here through the end of July, but through federally backed mortgages through August as well. So we're discontinuing them all, but we're not discontinuing cutting your electricity service. We're not discontinuing cutting your utility service. So essentially, we won't let them kick you out of your house, but these utility companies can shut your electricity off. Or they can shut your water off. How are we going to wash our hands? We have no water. We can't wash our hands. I find this absolutely disturbing to me. I know Kissimmee Utility Authority did this last week already. FPL, Duke have followed suit also. So make sure you understand this. They can't foreclose on you. They can't evict you, but they can shut your power off and take away all of your utilities. I don't see how this makes any sense whatsoever, but I do know one way that we can solve this problem where you don't ever have to worry about this whatsoever, and that is by going solar. We're going to talk about that and much more today. And now it's real questions. Every Saturday here in You Have Real Estate, I ask real questions to the truly trend-setting people in Central Florida's real estate community. Today on the show, it is Stephen Bader, the COO of IQ Power Solar, and Realtor Donovan France. Welcome, guys. How are you?
Awesome.
Steve, I can't kick you out of your house, but, I mean, I can constructively evict you by shutting off your electricity? Does this make any sense to you?
No.
How does that happen? I mean, all right, who makes money off of these power companies? Are these privately owned? Are these quasi-governmental agencies? What are they?
They are, the power companies make money off the power companies.
Yeah, but is it government-backed? Does the government have anything to do with it? Because it seems to me like it's the government protecting the government here in some ways, where they're saying if you're a private homeowner renting your house, you can't evict someone for not paying rent. If someone doesn't pay you $2,000 a month for rent, you can't evict them. But if you don't pay your $150 power bill, we can just shut you off. How is that good for families going through a pandemic?
It's not.
And so, all right, let me ask you this then. Why do you think they're allowing electricity companies to do this?
Well, I know why they're allowed to do that. I think people forget about something. When you develop a community, there's a fee called an impact fee, and during that process, you study, okay, what type of demand is this going to have on the grid, and what type of demand is this going to have on everything, the water, irrigation, the garbage companies, etc. So it's kind of wild, but at the end of the day, it's just a number, and if you're not going to pay the bill, get out and let someone in that will, and that's how they feel about it, which is upsetting, but it's indicative in their policies in general. They're trying to get rid of net metering again, which is what gives you credit for credit if you have solar. Just think about this. If you think that's bad, they're trying to get rid of your net metering policy. Net metering is a policy that says if you buy solar and you send solar to the grid, we owe you for the solar you sent to the grid.
Right.
Okay, that's what makes solar make sense in Florida. Okay, they're trying to get rid of that. So hey, you buy solar, you send us energy. We don't have to build another plant, but we're not going to give you anything for it.
I mean, how is that going to be possible? I mean, that
they've
makes no
successfully
sense.
done that in multiple states, including California. And what that is it's a very slow, slippery slope to where now they do leasing. And listen, everyone's getting solar, whether you like it or not. It's going to be in a roof. It's just whether or not you're going to own it. So it's going to be there.
So how does solar really work in theory then? Because as you know, I went solar last year, and again, I was paying $500 a month during this time of year because it's so hot out there. Literally, I was coming home at night having fights with my family because they would have it down to 65. Like, come on, what are you guys doing? turn it to 75. I don't want to pay this bill. We are not having those fights anymore, and my electricity bill is still down to like $40 a month, even this time of year. But how does it really happen behind the scenes? How does my bill get so low?
So, in short, solar produces on average, X amount per day. And, the EPA says that it produces between 5 and 5.5 hours a day in Florida. Now, when we do an average, it's based on an average for the whole year because it's going to produce more in the summer than it will in the winter. Okay. But the point is, when you produce direct current in the daytime, that direct current gets turned into alternating current. That then feeds your current demand. So if you're demanding electricity at 1 p.m., it's going to provide that for you so you're not taking from the grid. The excess goes to the grid. And then when you come home at 7 p.m., your solar is obviously not generating power, but now the energy the grid's sending you is going against what they borrowed. So it's called net metering. At the end of the month, you sent 1,200 kilowatt hours to the grid. We sent you back 1,300 kilowatt hours. You owe us for 100, plus a meter charge, etc.
I just can't figure out why any homeowner would not at least consider going solar. Because the way I did it with you guys is, there's a certain price for the solar, not a bad price whatsoever. I put $0 down. It literally cost me not 1 penny out of pocket. And then there's just a certain amount of money I pay essentially to pay the mortgage on the solar, whatever you want to call it, which is so much less than I paid for my electricity bill. Why would anyone not want to go solar?
Well, I study the behavior of the consumer often, right? It's one of my strong suits. And I'll tell you that up until the end of 2018, the largest reason or preventer to people going solar was a lack of information. They were uninformed. Now, the number one reason is misinformed. So the number one reason, because people are open to having the conversation now, right? But when you have a company that goes in there and says, oh, it's going to be 65 grand on a 25-year loan, and then they think that they need a $65,000 system to get rid of a $200 bill.
Yeah.
Some people do it, and then the other people they don't even want to meet with the next company. And then when they get now here's what we come across often. We'll go in there and we'll say, hey, we can do this. We can get rid of your $300 bill. Your payment will be $219. That sounds amazing. If you meet with us, you're going to do that. However, if you had another company tell you that they can get rid of your $300 bill for $120, then they're going to be conditioning that potential versus what we offered them, and they're not going to see it the correct way. But the problem is that other offer was not genuine. It was disingenuous.
Sure, of course. I'm so glad I did it. And if you have questions about solar, you want a free consultation, a full energy analysis of your house, I will send Steven to your house today if you want. Just
may not be me personally.
Make the phone call. He'll come. But just tell him it was me. He'll come. Don't worry. 407-205-0400. Again, just call us right now. 407-205-0400. And also, a side benefit for me was, first of all, I love not fighting with my family anymore. I love that the electricity bill is so low. But then when I went to do my taxes this year, my accountant literally said, you have to write a check for $10,000 to the IRS. I owed the IRS money. However, he went back. I told him I got solar, and it took the $10,000 completely away. I had to write a check for $0. It saved me 10 grand, and I paid nothing out of pocket. How does that work?
Well, in your case, it's a little different than most customers, but the federal tax credit is a dollar for dollar credit. Okay, so if you spend $10,000, you're going to get a $2,600 tax credit. Now, for most people, I'm not an accountant to be clear, but for most people that taxes are withheld from their checks, etc., basically their taxes are being withheld and put to the side saying this is a prediction of what you might owe. At the end of the year, it says, hey, you owe $8,000, but we withheld, $8,800, plus you have some deductions, etc. So that's how you end up getting money back. You're actually getting money that you put in surrendered back to you. It's not like anyone's giving you free money, right? Yeah. It's wild. But with the tax credit though, it's literally a dollar for dollar credit. So if you owe, $20,000 and you have an $8,000 tax credit, that counts as a blank check for $8,000. Yeah. So, but if if they're withholding $30,000 and you really only owed, 15, they're gonna have to send everything back to you.
It was a huge, 10 grand. No one wants to write a check for 10 grand to anyone, hardly, especially not the IRS. So that was a huge benefit that I really didn't see coming, and it solely because I went solar. What do you think also about solar? Because some people told me, well, it's like waiting on a car that was from 2012. It's going to get cheaper over time. Do you see solar getting cheaper, more expensive? What do you see for the future of solar cost-wise?
Well, the idea that it's going to get cheaper is silly because solar, as in reality, solar itself hasn't gotten cheaper. The soft costs have, which are like sophistication of railing, installing, etc. But let me tell you why solar's not going to get cheaper. It's not a television. It's not something where next month the HD TV comes out. Oh, the next month the Ultra HD. The next month it's a thin, right? No, and then all the other ones are obsolete. By definition, value is what something does for you. If today you're paying 13 cents a kilowatt hour with Duke, and solar saves you 13 cents a kilowatt hour, then that solar is worth how many kilowatt hours at 13 cents it saves you, correct?
Right.
Are the power bills going to go down? Is the electricity rate going down?
It's never happened in the history of the planet.
So the electricity rates are going up. We already know there's an industry standard average of 4% a year. So if the power rates are going up 4% annually, then next year that same solar panel is now saving you 13% times 1.04. So by definition, if the panel saves you 26 cents a kilowatt hour, in 10 years, it's worth 26. For instance, in Hawaii, we're in the 40 cents plus range per kilowatt hour. Solar is double there. It's the same exact panel.
Yeah.
It's because in no world are they going to, if they get rid of a $30,000 bill and it's a $300 payment, it's not a coincidence that the payment's just the same as the bill almost.
Yeah.
But I promise you, when the same system gets rid of a $600 bill, it's going to be a $500 payment.
And I want to talk to you in a minute, too, about how this consultation works. Because when you came to my house, as you know, I thought you were just going to get on the roof and say, put some panels here. And it's really not like that at all with IQ Power Solar. I mean, literally, they were in my attic looking at insulation and all sorts of just energy efficiency on my house in general. And I want to get back to that in a minute. But I want to welcome Donovan France to the show. How are you, Donovan? Good to see you.
Doing awesome.
Weichert Realtors, Hallmark Properties. You spent a lot of time on the East Coast, I believe, right?
Yes, Volusia County, Flagler County.
So what do you think about this whole deal where we've extended the moratorium on foreclosures, we've extended the moratorium on evictions, but we can shut your electricity off? Does this make rational sense to you?
I don't think so. I mean, I don't like the idea of extending the foreclosure thing and then not the electricity.
How is the market down in the trenches where you work in Flagler and Volusia now? What's going on over there?
Really, it's been busy. Things haven't stopped. I felt like people put a pause on the real estate industry for a minute, and then it was like buyer demand is still skyrocketed. The challenge is low inventory right now.
Yeah. And obviously, a lot of people here from Marion County, from Orange County, from everywhere in Central Florida. And I think a lot of people in Central Florida are always going to look for that second home, that vacation home over in Flagler, over in Volusia. Is there a place that you can get a real bang for the buck over there?
Yeah, I mean, right now, Daytona Beach Shores is a great little pocket to get condos. Of course, New Smyrna Beach is, they call it Orlando's Beach. Everybody's excited about that place. So there's definitely opportunities over there.
What about Flagler? I don't hear as much about Flagler, but it's a city, like Flagler Beach is a city I love to go visit.
Yeah.
What is Flagler County like as far as real estate right now?
Yeah, so Flagler County is great. It really is a little gem. There's a little gem called Hammock Beach and Hammock Dunes. And, the golf community is amazing. They do the Florida Open every year up there, and the views are amazing. So
Ormond by the Sea?
Ormond by the Sea is great as well. You've always got the John Anderson Drive there. And, there's little pockets of houses that need to be gentrified as well. So.
And let's go back to solar a minute from your perspective, because I like to hear the real estate perspective on this too. So let's say you're working with a buyer. You're showing them 4 different houses in the same neighborhood. One of them, the AC bill is $300.
Yeah.
One of them, it's $400. The other one, it's $40 a month because the prior owner has solar. I mean, how does that affect the buyer's mentality when they can look at this house and say, I'm going to pay $40 a month maximum for my electricity bill forever?
Yeah, it's awesome. I really think that it helps with the saleability of a home. It's really hard for us as real estate agents to put a value on that solar panel itself, but when you put 2 houses next to each other and one of them is on solar panels and the other one is running on regular electricity,
absolutely.
I mean, you're going to go with the solar panel house all day.
And Steve, how are appraisers now adjusting to appraising a house with solar? Are they getting better?
They're getting better because they're asking a more diverse array of people for advice. But the thing is, and also I've learned that it takes some input from the homeowner as well, because we've seen studies where when an appraiser comes, they don't really know what the system is, but when a homeowner says my bill was $300, now it's $40, they do understand that differently. It's that simple. When you simplify it, it works much smoother.
Yeah.
Hey, let's look at a couple properties that you have here, Donovan, as well. And let's see what solar might do for these properties also. And Derek, let's start over on 20 Porto Mar. Where is this?
All right, so this one is up in Hammock Dunes in Palm Coast. It is right oceanfront. Beautiful property. It's in the Savona building in Hammock Dunes. It's a 2-bedroom, 2.5 bath. Just a little over 2,100 living square footage. It's a great golf community, as I said before. It really is the ultimate beach condo.
I noticed in Volusia County a lot of times when you buy a condo there, the HOA will not let you rent it out. What's the deal over in Hammock Dunes, you know?
So there are rental restrictions. You have to do it on an annual basis. So, you know, it is a little bit restrictive. But honestly, the type of people that would live there, you know, are going to be there long term.
They don't just want the owner's closet. They want the whole place to themselves.
Exactly.
I hear you. So this is this actually in Hammock? Is that in the resort, or is this like right outside of the resort?
So this is Hammock Dunes. So you go all the way through, and it's right there on the ocean front, and it's right there. You've got the golf course right there. They actually do the World Championship not pickleball. I can't remember what it's called, but anyway.
It'll come to you in a minute.
Yeah. So yeah, it's just a beautiful place. If you are looking for a condo on the beach, this is it.
Steve, do you think we'll ever get to a point where you see a condo like this? You know, you see condos all the time or apartment buildings where they'll have their individual DirecTV dish up there. Will we ever see a time where condos will have solar panels that you can put a couple on the top of the roof, you think?
Not for the residents, but we've actually done solar for multiple condo. But what they do is, you know, we've done for golf communities, for condos. If you don't own the roof, you can't get solar, right? So you can't, if you don't own the townhome, you can't do it as a resident. But we have done it for condos where we power their common areas. We've done huge solar pool heating systems for community pools. A lot of cool stuff like that. We've done some small hotels, you know, stuff like that, but not individual residents.
So that's an awesome condo. Call Donovan if you'd like to see it. This is a great second home. Certainly. I mean, probably even a first home if you want to live over there. But I think that's a still area of, is it Flagler County, I guess?
It is Flagler, yep.
But it's an area that literally it's like an hour from here, maybe an hour, 20 minutes. It's not much further than if you're going to Daytona or New Smyrna. It's really not. Call Donovan, 407-205-0400 now. A house near my house, but I can assure you this house looks a little bit different than my house. 1501 Lake Markham Road. What a beauty.
Yeah, so welcome to Painted Dreams, as they call it. It was built in 2004. It is in Seminole County there. It's sitting on just a little over 2.5 acres. It's a 9-bedroom, 6.5 bath home, and just a little over 12,000 living square footage. It's got oversized bedrooms. You'll see a 40,000-gallon pool. It even has a little 2-bedroom apartment over the 3-car garage, so you can bring your in-laws as well. So elevator, 25 minutes from the airport. It's a great executive home.
So price point on this one, what are we asking?
We're asking just a little under 3.7, so 3,699, and yeah.
Do you have an 85-year mortgage?
You ready to buy it?
Cash only, no.
Yeah. Any mortgage questions, call Dallas Lehman. You have mortgage. I mean, a beautiful house, obviously. I mean, what kind of income does someone really need to have coming in yearly, you think, to buy something like this? What do you think, guys?
If I had to guess, I'd say 350, 400.
That's it?
Yeah.
I was thinking like $1 million a year.
What's the mortgage on this? You know,
the mortgage on $3 million is probably about
18,
20 grand, something like that.
Yeah.
18, 20 grand a month.
I mean, that's only, you could afford that unless you're stunting. You know.
And what would a solar system look like on something like this, Steve? I mean, do people do solar on houses this size?
Do you know when this was? Yeah, you know when this is built.
2004.
Okay, so assuming, I mean, we could probably this house would probably have between a $500 and $800 bill.
Yeah.
So we could probably get rid of let's say the bill's $650.
Yeah.
We could probably get rid of that and give them a payment of $400.
I bet the electricity bill is more than that in this house. You don't think? How many square feet was it again?
I mean, 12,000.
12,000 square feet.
Okay.
It's over $1,000
I was
I would say.
misinformed. This is horrible conversation. Okay, the bill's probably $1,300.
Yeah.
But if it has 1 meter, you probably can't get rid of the whole $1,300 bill.
But I'm sure someone who could afford a house like this could really use the tax credit. And my understanding is the tax credit is slowly going away. That's why it was good that I got in when I did.
It's not slow. It's pretty deliberate.
What's going on with the tax credit for
it's
solar?
dropping at the end of this year, and then it's going away for residentials at the end of next year. And I'll tell you what's ironic is that's the conversation you have with a homeowner like this.
Yeah.
They don't say, they say, hey, what's the most you can fit on this part of the roof where we can't see it, or on this part of the roof, and what's the best tax credit you can give me? Because that's what they're not trying to, they don't care that much about their bill.
Yeah.
Any
questions at all? 407-205-0400. Steve, I wanted to get back to you a minute about what IQ Power does when you first come to my house, because I've told you a million times I was shocked, impressed, I guess, that I think most solar companies are just looking at your roof saying you need this much solar. That is not what you did at all.
No. Well, it's kind of funny, really, but you got to remember when we come to your house, we're not there to sell you solar. We're not in the transaction of selling products. We come to your house, we say, hey, what do you want to achieve? And they usually say, well, I want to get rid of my bill, or I want to get very close to a little bill. So they have to keep that in mind, because if we go to a house with a $250 bill and you have a meeting with multiple companies, most companies, and I mean 9 out of 10, are going to say, okay, if we give you $60,000 worth of solar, we can get rid of this $250 bill, and we'll give you a 25-year loan, and your payment will be, $190. It sounds good, right? But when we do it, we realize that you're not trying to buy solar, you're trying to buy an outcome. Mm-hmm. So if we can achieve that same outcome with a much better return on your investment, it just makes sense. Plus, not only do we go in there and make your house more efficient, but we produce the difference. So if you just buy a bunch of solar, guess what? You still have an old hot water tank. You still have an inefficient pool pump in some cases. Mm-hmm. You still have super old insulation. And eventually, after time, 2 years later, you're going to have to fix one. And then 4 years later, you're going to have to fix one. And then you know what your wife says?
Yeah.
It's always something with this house. It's always something with this house. So,
and then I'm busy every Sunday. Yeah, exactly.
So that's what we provide. We provide peace of mind, and we provide the outcome.
Derek, I would rack that one. It was, you are not buying solar, you're buying an outcome. I like that. And that's why you need to go in my attic and look at the insulation and see what's going on, because that helps the outcome. It's true. That helps my outcome. I mean, there's no question in my mind, had I gone with someone other than IQ Power Solar, I would have not had the same outcome.
Listen, the marketplace and our competitors will tell you that we're doing it right, and I'll tell you why. Because from 2010 to 2017, all these solar companies are selling solar hot water, solar pool heat, and solar photovoltaics. Now, in 2018, now a couple, we'll do some insulation, we'll do some attic. Now they're pretty much systematically just doing exactly what we do. And that's cool, because they still don't do it right.
Do you have any solar pool cooling? Because my pool is really hot right now. The sun itself is making my pool hot right now.
Well, actually, it's not designed to cool your system, but if you leave it on in the night, it'll cool your pool down.
Awesome.
In the wintertime. But.
Beautiful. Thank you very much, Stephen Bader, Donald in France. Are you going to stick around for the Real Estate Roundtable, I hope?
Yeah.
All right. Without further ado, it is your part of the program. It's the Real Estate Roundtable every Saturday here on You Have Real Estate. We answer your questions from throughout the week. All you have to do is go to the Facebook page, You Have Real Estate, ask me a question right there, and we just might answer it next week on You Have Real Estate. Let's go to John in Orlando. How much do I have to put down to install a solar system? I think we kind of addressed that, but it's real, correct? There's no down payment whatsoever typically.
No, guys, there's no down payment on solar. You don't make a payment until after it's installed. And if you call into the show, we are making your payment for the rest of this year.
What?
Yeah.
Say that again.
So if you reach out to us via this show and we come to your house and you decide to get solar, let's say it's installed in the end of July and your first payment's in August. It's not. We're going to pay your financing payment or the program payment for the rest of the year.
407-205-0400. That's awesome. You're going to pay the rest of this year is going to be ugly for some people, I think, financially. And this really takes away your electricity bill altogether.
We haven't, and also, Justin, we haven't finalized it yet. We should have it final probably within the next week or so, but we came up with like 5 different programs for people that, you know, where if one of them just lost their house, there's going to be some opportunities where we might pay your payment for the entire next year too.
Wow.
We just haven't, but you're going to have to qualify. You can't be just balling out at $300,000 a year, you know.
Right.
So we're just trying to take care of the community wherever we can.
Excellent. Awesome. Sarah in Orlando, what is the best city to invest in real estate in Volusia County currently?
I would say New Smyrna. I mean, it is booming. Values are just skyrocketing. I love the beach there. It's very secluded. It's getting a little bit busier, but it's got that small town feel to it.
Let's say that we got a condo. Everything looks the exact same, 2-bedroom, 2-bath in New Smyrna in a good location, beachfront, and then the same condo in Daytona Beach. What's the difference in cost there, you think?
So in New Smyrna, you can look at somewhere in the 3s or 4s. It's up there. In Daytona Beach Shores, I would say probably high 2s, low 3s.
And if you were buying a second home in Volusia, where would you go?
New Smyrna is where you can drive on the beach, right?
It's all up
That's
and
where-
down.
that's
kind
where I
of.
would go.
Even Daytona.
Really?
That's I mean, but I would, if me personally, I'd probably rather be in New Smyrna. I do agree that it is.
It's sort of like Orlando Junior in a lot of ways. A lot of Orlando people go to New Smyrna, it seems like, don't they?
Yep.
I don't know. I'm a Flagler guy. Like anywhere from Ormond by the Sea to Flagler makes me happy.
I like those places too. But you
just
told me to choose between Daytona.
No. Anywhere in Volusia County, I said. I don't know.
Erroneous.
All right, Susan in Claremont, how do you think solar will affect my home's value? I think that's for both of you. Steve, you start.
I'm certain it'll increase your home's value substantially.
Yeah, I think it will. It's hard to put a number on it for us, though, so it really takes partnering with these guys to...
Well, here's where the metrics are supposed to come from. It's pretty simple. So when you pull a permit for solar, you have to pull it on the entire contract amount because the federal government's incentivizing you. That permit gets pulled with that contract amount in mind. So that's one metric. It's going under property tax value, and they can't increase your property taxes because of solar. It's protected. That's one metric. Another metric, if you just look at energy efficiency, if you spend $30,000 to save $200 a month, et cetera, right? That's $2,400 a year. You get a tax credit. Anything that's energy efficient, increase your home value 12 to 15 times what it saves you. So 12 times $2,400 is right. It's not a coincidence. That's right around. So there's 2 different metrics, and they fall really close.
Donovan France, nice to meet you, brother. Thanks for coming in.
Thank you, Justin.
Weichert Realtors, Hallmark Properties. If
got
you're
it.
looking for anything out on the East Coast, that is your guy right there. Stephen Bader, IQ Power Solar. What a great deal. Thank you for doing it for this audience. We very much appreciate it. You got to call this number, though, 407-205-0400. Steve is going to pay for your bill the rest of the month, or the rest of the year. The rest of the year, unbelievable. You'll literally pay nothing
For the solar.
for the solar side of
bill,
things, but your electricity bill is going to go down to this, so you're going to essentially have no bill whatsoever. Thank you, Steve. Thanks for being here as always. Most importantly, thank you for joining me here today. If you're looking to sell your home, you want us to feature it right here on this show, give me a call. We'd be happy to do that for you. If you want to get pre-approved, Dallas Lehman is standing by at that very same phone number. I'm attorney Justin Clark, and I'll see you back here next week for You Have Real Estate.